Hello and welcome to another Brothers Creed movie review. We are the Thomas Brothers, and I'm Jared.
And I'm Ethan. And today we're going to be doing a movie review of the movie that released in 2022 called Sisu.
2023.
2023. That
Yeah,
is right.
it was released just this past
called,
month. And yeah,
yes, it called Sisu. And this is a really cool movie. It's kind of it's set around World War II. And it's kind of a war flick, I guess you could call it, but kind of a one man army.
yeah.
So it's gonna be a good one. There's lots of cool little things that we'll talk about in this episode that happen, I'm sure, that are kind of crazy scenes that you'd never even think of. So I thought it was a good movie. Jared and I are going to go through our ranking of the movie. The first 5 minutes or so, 10 minutes will be kind of a non-spoiler, and then we'll make a spoiler announcement, and then we will get into talking more about details and everything else in the movie. So let's get into it.
All right, let's do it.
Yeah, I'm thinking I'm back.
Most valuable commodity I know of is information.
And that, my friends, is called integrity. That's called courage. Now that's the stuff leaders should be made of.
Either you're somebody or you're nobody.
You're not the devil. You're practice.
All right, so Sisu, the movie spelled S-I-S-U. So I think it's important just to cover right off the top, what does that even mean? Is that a name? Is that something? So Sisu is actually a unique Finnish word. It's a kind of a concept. Is a Finnish term that can be roughly translated into English as strength of will, determination, perseverance, and acting rationally in the face of adversity. Sisu is not a momentary courage, but of the ability to sustain that courage. And so it can't really be fully translated, but that's like the best they can do in English. So it's kind of cool because like the whole thing is that this guy in the show, like he is Sisu. He like it personifies the word Sisu, if you will.
Yeah. At first, I thought his name was Sisu. But then when you get into it, yeah, it's like Sisu is just this like characteristic that this guy, just this relentless determination to like survive and against in the face of all adversity. So I thought it was kind of a cool concept.
Yeah, it's a cool concept.
I mean,
so the movie is kind of based off a guy who, and you can learn all this from the trailer, so this isn't a spoiler, but like he's an old actually he's just an old man,
war veteran.
Yeah, he's a war veteran. Won't give away too many details there, but he's kind of walked away from the war, if you will. He's out in the wilderness, gold panning. He finds a bunch of gold, tons of gold, and he's like, okay, now I gotta get this back. So at the time, and this is a fictional movie, but it's kind of based on, it's like a historic fiction, really.
Historical fiction.
So the Nazis were told to get out of Finland, but one thing I didn't look up is you talked about the Finns, right? You talked about Finland and before in an episode, right?
Yep.
So the Russians invaded, and then the Germans invaded the same country.
Yeah, so it's so the Russians and the Russians invaded Finland during the Winter War, because they were afraid that Germany would take over Finland and that they would have to fight Germany on two fronts.
Oh, okay.
So they invaded Finland to try to just gain extra control and ground. But then Finland ended up fighting Germany in the Winter War, Russia in the Winter War, and it was this massive battle that we talked about in an episode, an epic episode.
Underdog episode. Yeah, that was great.
Yep. But eventually the Russians won the Winter War. One is in quotation marks. But part of that agreement was that the Finns had to kind of force Germany out of Finland. Plus, Germany was losing the war, and they were just trying to kind of survive at that point.
Yeah. So with this movie, the guy's trying to get back, and the Germans are headed back out of the country. So he runs across a couple, and it's kind of a crazy chase, and who gets the gold kind of a thing. So it's a pretty cool, and this guy shows an incredible amount of grit. One of the things that I heard that the movie was kind of loosely based off of, and Ethan, you had talked about this in the Winter War, was the White Death. Who was a sniper? Or you go ahead and you tell you did.
Yeah. So the White Death was a Finnish sniper in the Winter War against Russia, to where I can't remember what the exact stats were, but he had,
I think it was 300.
like, hundreds,
300 men.
hundreds of kills, and the Russians called him the White Death because he was just his strategic prowess, his fighting ability, his sniper ability. I mean, just everything that he did, they wanted to kill him because he was killing all of them.
Martial prowess. Remember with the episode on chivalry? Martial, that's what it's called. Your martial prowess. Yeah. So the movie's like kind of loosely based on a character like the White Death, and this guy's supposed to be like almost. I think it's kind of like a John Wick thing. It's like, oh, you crossed the wrong guy. So that's kind of the setup for the movie. But we can go through our categories here, and we can talk about how we rank it.
All right, let's do it. So the first one is cinematography. So for cinematography, I kind of grouped this in with the filming, kind of like the landscape, but also kind of the choreography of what was happening as well.
Yeah.
And so for cinematography, I gave it an 8.
Yeah, me too. I thought it was cool. I won't go into details, but I thought it was visually appealing. Definitely,
Agreed.
Similar to John Wick. I really like John Wick. There was a lot more there, I think, than this one, but it was very good.
Yeah.
What about plot, storyline?
So for plot story, we kind of briefly talked about it earlier. There's a lot more that goes into it, but I gave it an 8 as well.
Same. Yeah, I thought it was a cool storyline, cool plot. I thought it was good. Yeah, 8.
I'll say a little caveat on this too, is that we haven't seen any movies that it's like a 3 or whatever, but it's because we don't watch crappy movies. We don't want to review crappy movies.
Yeah, maybe we should watch The Little Mermaid and we can review that one.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
Now,
what the overall ranking? Wonder what the political agenda of that one's going to be.
Oh, far left. I did give John Wick though the storyline. I did give John Wick a few dings though.
Yeah, that one's probably one of the harshest ones so far.
I was
in certain categories.
I think
you gave John Wick a 10 in a different category.
I gave it a 10 out of 10 on cinematography because I thought this was visually stunning. But I think the acting I gave it a 4.
Yeah.
So
you did an 8 for plot and story as well.
Yeah. So what about acting and talent?
So acting and talent, and these are a 1 out of 10.
Yeah,
everybody. Acting and talent, I give it a 7.
Oh yeah. I gave it an 8.5. So I thought it was actually very good. I thought it was well acted.
Okay.
I've never seen any of these actors before, so all net new people, I guess.
Yeah, there was one guy that I recognized, but that's probably because I like watching B-rated movies. not that I would really consider this a B-rated movie. I mean, this was in like movie theaters and stuff. I mean, this was kind of a big deal. All right, so agenda. What did you say on agenda?
I said none. I mean, the agenda was killing Nazis, and these are actual Nazis, not just like someone who has like a American flag on the front porch and like neo-Nazi, like the modern day what people say are Nazis, like a MAGA supporters that people still call those a not. Now, so this is they're actually fighting bad guys. He's actually not like actively trying to kill them. He's just trying to get past them, just to get back. So I said none.
Yeah, I agree with that. So for creed building, what did you put?
I put 6 out of 10. I mean,
Okay.
I didn't feel like it was like major, like, oh, this has inspired to me to be like a better man. I mean, I mean, it's obviously I like the concept of Sisu and like this grittiness to just keep going. It was more of a fun flick, just like killing Nazis and stuff. But I wouldn't say it was like incredibly creed building. But that doesn't mean it wasn't fun.
Yeah. Okay. I for Creed building, I gave it an 8.
Okay.
So, and I have some reasons behind that.
Okay. Cool. Very good. So my overall score was
So-
a 7.6.
All right. My overall score was a 7.75.
Oh, nice. Very good. Hey, we're
So-
pretty in line here. Okay, so what's your quote about the movie?
Yeah. So my quote about the movie is a thrilling story of grit, determination, savage survival, and killing some Nazis.
Love it. Very good. I said that was good. By the way, I like that one. Mine is an action-packed thriller that is so gritty you will have sand in your mouth afterwards.
Nice.
I mean, it's like
Yeah.
the guy goes
Which
through.
I'm sure the guy had sand in his mouth.
Oh yeah, at
afterwards.
least. Yeah, you know, it was pretty gritty. Just all the stuff he goes through. And you're like, oh my gosh. It had the vibe of like the grittiness of, and I would say more so than True Grit. The movie True Grit. I like it because when you compare it to the old one, it's much like dirtier in the fact like you can almost feel the sand and feel like, what is it, Jeff Bridges? He does a great job in that movie of just being like this disgruntled, drunk Rooster Cogburn. And so this is like even more extreme because the guy's like out in the woods, he's out in the mining, and then he goes through all this stuff. So very gritty.
Yeah, and I completely agree with this one, and it's almost kind of like John Wick human, or John Wick level kind of inhuman to a certain extent.
Yeah.
It's like, and this isn't a spoiler. This is, if anything, this is going to make you motivated to go watch it. But some of the stuff that he does and happens to him and all this kind of, you're like, there's no way any possible person could even survive a tenth of what happened to him.
Oh yeah, totally.
And still be running down the road. Like,
Yeah, it's definitely running down the road. Yeah, totally. All right,
so-
well, cool. Well, that was
all
a
right.
spoiler-free version. Now let's get into the spoilers. So if you haven't seen it yet, or if you just, I would stop now. But if you want to hear what our full review is, stay on.
All right.
All right, so yeah, I thought that the movie overall was really good. Let's talk about. Let's go through. It was unique because it had like different chapters, right?
I thought that was cool.
I thought
Another unique thing
Yeah.
is, and I'll talk about this in a second, but the main guy, he does not say a word during the entire movie.
I thought he did.
Did you notice that? He does not say a single word the entire movie, except for at the very, very end when he goes to the bank.
Uh-huh.
He says like one sentence in Finnish
Dollars,
or whatever they
yeah.
speak.
I thought he said more. Really? Yeah, because I didn't
Yeah.
know that there was there was just a lack of dialogue, which I thought was cool that they were able to carry. That's why I give it a high score for like the plot line and also the acting, because to be able to carry a story without almost any lines, that takes a lot of hard work. I mean, that's like kind of like Castaway level, acting where there's who you can talk to. Well, I guess he even talked to Wilson, but in this situation, he didn't talk to anybody.
Yeah, you could tell kind of his. So cinematography, I gave it an 8. I said the scenery was nice, but I thought nice as in like it was filmed. But I said the choreography too was awesome. I mean, some of the things that happened, some of the just the battle scenes and things were just done really, really well.
Yeah, I liked how like you at the beginning, like you could see off in the distance, like the war was still raging. There was like bombs going off way in the distance, and then just even the underwater scenes. That was one of my favorite scenes. That chapter I think was my favorite when he is run. So he gets blown off his horse with the landmine, which was like unbelievable. And then he somehow like goes down the road, and then he goes under the truck, and then he punctures the gas can, which I'm like, oh my gosh, he's gonna get gas all over him. And then he stands out and he lights that match in his hand, and I was like, what is going on?
Well, the reason why he lights it because he rolls out from under the truck,
and
then he starts running towards the lake that's there.
Yeah,
and they sick the dogs on him. The German shepherds, they let him loose, and so he turns around. He's soaked in gasoline, has a match in his hand, and lights the match to light himself on fire, just so the dogs won't get him. And the dogs like cower away. It's just like, dude, that is so awesome. Like,
yeah. And then he runs into the water. I thought it was crazy when he was under the water and he was killing those guys and drinking the air out of their lungs as they died.
Yeah. would cut their throat, and then he would breathe the air that was released from their lungs into his own lungs to stay underwater longer. That's crazy, dude.
Yeah. Well, what I thought was kind of dumb, though, it was like, when he was running to the lake, they were trying to shoot him, too, and they kept missing him. And then, like, when that one last guy in the canoe, like, went to the opposite side of the thing, and he, like, got out of the canoe, they shot him in the back first shot.
Yeah,
I was like, obviously
that guy got on that like 50 cal or whatever it was on that tank.
Oh yeah,
and he started carrying the dead guy on his back, and then they were lighting him up from across the lake, and the guy on his back got hit 2 or 3 times. As a shield.
That was like that was so unbelievable. I was like, that guy would have been absolutely obliterated. It would have obliterated both of their bodies, even if the bullets didn't hit him. If the bullets would just went by them.
Oh yeah, it would have gone right through, but. I thought it was cool too, that one scene kind of towards the landmine part where they were all shooting at him through the smoke.
Oh yeah, and he had
that like
shield.
Captain America moment with like, the shield where they were shooting him, and
that was his panning gold panning pan.
Yeah,
it's like he had a steel reinforced gold panning pan, not just like a tin pan. Yeah, that was crazy. Let's see. Yeah, the water scene was cool, and then. At the end when they were in the plane, that was pretty cool too.
Yeah, I thought it was just really well put together, and two, I mean, this kind of leads into the plot and the story, but I thought that it was really cool how they brought in the story of kind of the Winter War, and I thought it was cool because we had talked about that before.
Yeah.
And then. As well, just the progression of the movie. I liked the chapters, and it really flowed really well. Yeah. And the movie was only like an hour and a half long, so it wasn't super long.
Yeah,
but it was just jam packed, and your eyes are on the TV the whole time. Like I didn't even get the urge to like pick up my phone and scroll or anything like that because it was just like jam packed, and there wasn't even that much talking in the movie.
Yeah. The one thing that I thought was kind of weird is like he like sent his dog off at one point, then his dog came back, and then they used his dog to find him again. I thought that was a little weird. Then when they hung him, he like somehow like jabbed his leg into that rebar and then like somehow survived. That was bizarre.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say that part's crazy. Because he had been shot in the leg about halfway up his calf. And then he was trying to lift his leg up to step on that rebar, but he couldn't lift his leg up high enough. So he just like lifted his leg up and stuck the rebar into the bullet hole so that he could lift himself up and relieve pressure off of his neck.
Jeez, man.
I mean, it's just like, dude.
So was he just playing dead that whole time? He must have just been playing dead when they kind of.
Yeah. Well, plus he hung there for how long without, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe
he's really good at holding his breath because he was underwater for a long time too.
Yeah, that's true. So I thought that was good. That's the plot, the story. That's why I gave it an 8 out of 10 because I just thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
For actors,
yep.
I'd give it a 7 out of 10. I thought it was awesome that the guy didn't speak much throughout the movie or at all, really.
Yeah.
The German guys were really where the main dialogue was, and I thought the two main German guys did a good job.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think they're actually, maybe they are German, I don't know, but they had decent accents, and it was good. It was believable.
Yeah.
The one thing I didn't really like is I thought the one girl, I thought her acting was kind of blah. I don't know. I didn't think her acting was that great.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I paid very much attention to her.
It was like she had a couple lines, and it was just like, sometimes actors, when they act and they say things, you're like, oh, you can definitely tell they're acting.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what I kind of got the feeling from
She's, like,
her, and like
overacting,
maybe
yeah.
the 10 lines she had. Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I thought it was great that he was able to do that with just without talking, and just, I thought that one part was so cool when the two Germans that were left on the motorcycle would roll up to him, and he just points his pickaxe at them, and they just get up and run away.
Yeah. Yeah, or when they're the motorcycle guys were in kind of the back of the caravan, and they keep seeing dead people on the side of the road, and they're like, was that Hans?
Yeah.
Was that Frederick?
Yeah,
Was
exactly.
that this person?
Yeah, and he just points the pickaxe, and they run. That was fun. That was kind of funny. So we already talked about the agenda. Did you have anything else to add there?
No, I didn't have anything else. It really wasn't political at all. It was just killing Nazis.
Yeah. Creed building?
So
you said you
for
had
this
something
one,
to share,
I put 8 for this one. I really just liked the idea of Sisu, right? Just that grit and determination in face of adversity. And I feel like he really personified that. Obviously, however unbelievable it might have been, but he just never gave up. He was one of the things that really kind of made me give that score was his ability to quickly assess and react to the situations around him.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like whether it was lighting himself on fire so that the dogs couldn't get him, or
throwing the rock
from,
at the rock at that
throwing the
landmines.
rock at the landmine, or like he just had all these kind of things that he just thought really quickly on his feet to survive in that situation.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm underwater. I need air, so I'm going to borrow it from these Germans that are down here trying to kill me.
Yeah.
Or it's just, I thought there was just some great kind of reactive type things that he assessed the situation and got out of it. And I think that's kind of a cool skill that could be used. I mean, obviously this is a wartime situation, but kind of in anything, being able to quickly assess your situation and make a decision and like act, right? Whenever you have Germans running after you and they're 30 feet away, there's not much time to think. You just have to just perform.
Yeah.
And so that's why I give it an 8.
Yeah. Those are good. Those are good. I like that. Yeah. Anything else you thought about the movie?
I
thought the scene with the bomb was cool at the end when he strapped the guy to the bomb. Whenever I saw the bomb, I knew it was coming. I was like, dude, they're gonna drop that bomb. And like whenever I saw him like sitting there with I saw the lever and he was hitting him with that strap on the face. First of all, I was like, dude, this guy's getting whooped. And then that strap. I knew I was like, oh man, he's gonna hook that thing onto the bomb and drop that guy. And then they did it. That was cool.
I thought he was going to detonate the bomb in the air and like blow up the plane.
Oh yeah,
that's it. That's what I thought he was gonna do. I thought he was gonna like hit it or shoot it or do something to it to make it explode, and then it was gonna be like he sacrificed himself to kill the Nazis or whatever. But it wasn't. I mean, it was like the end of the movie. He gets all the gold and he takes it to the bank.
Yeah. Yeah, that was and like the plane like went straight into like a bog or something like that. I thought he was gonna try to jump out or like use some of those ropes to like balance
just tied
himself,
himself to the-
or maybe try to pilot the plane. I mean, if I was in a plane like that, dude, I'd try to pilot the plane, man. Like,
Yeah. Well, and he flew that other plane.
oh yeah, he did. Yeah. So why wouldn't he try to fly the
Yes.
plane? Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, the pilot was dead, but I mean, you're way better off trying to fly a plane. It's not like it's dead in the air, you know.
Yeah. Well, and how the plane hit like straight nosedive into the ground.
Yeah.
I mean, you could at least pilot it so it's like some kind of, landing flat across a field or something.
Yeah, yeah, and then it disappeared, and I was like, oh, this is like the flight on 9/11 that landed in the field and just absolutely disappeared with no wreckage.
Yeah, sunk down in the bog.
So that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, but I thought it was a good movie. I would suggest that anybody who is interested goes and sees it. I don't think you particularly have to be in the movie theater to see it if you have a different option. But it was just
It's a quick watch.
Yeah,
something fun to watch in the evening. Yeah,
This
is a weeknight movie.
Fun
Weeknight movie.
Yeah,
so you don't have to be up too late watching it. So, all right. Well, that was a great review. Let us know what you think about the movie. Follow us on Instagram and comment on our rating, and let us know if y'all agree or disagree. We'd love to hear what you have to say. All
right. Well, let's do it. Let's build that creed together.
Let's do it.